Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to today's live stream where we're going to have a very deep discussion about what's holding you back. A lot of us, we have this feeling, it's a feeling of unfulfilled potential. We go about our careers, we go about our lives, and we do what we think makes us happy. But within ourselves, we keep having this feeling of unfulfilled potential. It's a feeling that I can be so much more, that I could do so much more with my life and even have so much more. But this feeling of unfulfilled potential, by just becoming aware of it, doesn't even solve the problem. The more that we become aware of this feeling of unfulfilled potential, the more that it frustrates us. So if you've had this feeling of unfulfilled potential, please give me a wave in the comment box below. Let me know that you've also had this feeling of unfulfilled potential. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I've also had this feeling. I remember I was age 28. I'd just been living in Dubai. I had been working in Dubai and I'd come back home to Australia. Now, I'd been an expatriate. I'd come back to Australia and I'd experienced this big, big world. And all of a sudden I came into small downtown Australia. And I felt that from everything that I'd learned throughout my life, from everything from my traveling experiences to working with billion-dollar businesses in the Middle East, that I'd experienced this big world, and then I came back to Sydney, and it was like I was in a time warp. It was like I was in a vacuum, and I was sucked all the way back into the past. Now, at that stage in 2008, my job was controlling traffic. I stood on the side of the street. I was directing traffic, come this way, go that way, and I was holding a sign and it said, slow, and I'd turn around and I'd say stop. And for me personally, I felt that my life had stopped. I felt that I'd achieved so much and all of a sudden it stopped. And I looked at myself and what I was doing and I had this feeling of unfulfilled potential. But I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what was actually holding me back. And I started to have that feeling of unfulfilled potential. Danielle Spear, great to see you there, and thanks for joining us. So there I am. And so I started to look around and I started to look at the people around me. And I thought to myself, maybe it's the people around me who are no good for me. Maybe because of the people around me, maybe they're causing me to fall short of my goals. But I realized it wasn't them. I looked at my family and I thought maybe it's the family holding me back. It had nothing to do with the family. Maybe I thought it was the economy that was holding me back. But there was nothing wrong with the economy. What it came down to was that I had a series of self-limiting beliefs. Now, a self-limiting belief is a belief that you have about yourself that limits you. It's very simple. It's a belief that limits you. But the problem is, by becoming aware of a self-limiting belief, it doesn't help you do anything about it. All of a sudden you say, yes, I have a limiting belief. I don't believe I can make enough money. I don't believe I can have the career that I want. I don't believe I can have the relationship that I want. Becoming aware of a self-limiting belief does not help you solve the problem, because what precedes a self-limiting belief is a limiting decision. So I want to repeat this for you. What precedes a self-limiting belief is a limiting decision. See, any time in your life that you make a decision, you then have a belief that follows it. So the limiting decision always precedes your limiting beliefs. So if you become aware of your self-limiting belief, it doesn't mean that you've become aware of the decision that took place before it. So what do we have to do in this instance? In order for you to understand what's holding you back, yes, you do have to become aware of your limiting beliefs, but you also have to discover the root cause of the limiting decision. So I have a piece of technology, very exciting piece of technology. This technology enables you to pinpoint those areas of your life where there's been significant emotional events. Once you understand where your significant emotional events have come from, then you can start to get clarity around the decisions that you made at that time. So I'm going to introduce you to a piece of technology today. that is changing people's lives all around the world. My clients are using this technology and they are loving it. I'm using this technology for our family and our family is loving it. And I want to share it with you. This is why I got the technology, because I loved it and I know it had a big impact on my life. So eyes on the screen. What you're going to find here is you're going to find a new piece of technology. Now, this piece of technology, it's hiding somewhere. Let me find this one again. You know, I have these these two monitors in my office. They're both 49 inches. They're huge. And sometimes things disappear on them. Okay, we're back. Here we go. So I've got this piece of technology and I want to talk to you about what it does. This technology allows you to discover the root cause of your mental and emotional blockages. Within 90 seconds, this piece of technology it records your voice. So we do a 90-second voice recording, and my artificial intelligence identifies 1,441 blind spots inside of 90 seconds. Inside of 90 seconds, using artificial intelligence, we can identify up to 1,441 blind spots that are holding you back. Once you understand exactly the blind spot that's holding you back, you can then quickly break through both your mental and emotional blockages. So I started to use this technology with one of my clients the other day, and it was fascinating what we were able to find. She had a lot of stress, but she wasn't quite sure where the root cause of the stress was coming from. She wasn't sure when the events were in her life that created this stress. So by taking a 90-second voice recording, we're able to identify 1,441 blind spots, and now she can break through her limitations. So what we have to be able to do is we have to be able to discover the root cause. Now, this piece of artificial intelligence that I have, it's very exciting. It tracks your brain wave frequencies. By listening to the frequencies in your voice, it tracks out your brain. And it can also track out those brain movements throughout your life, and especially when you've had significant emotional events. So cast your eyes on the screen here. This is what we call a life journey. And this is our client's emotional map from the time of birth all the way up to age 45, and that's her age today. So starting on the right-hand side, I want you to have a look at the right-hand side of the screen here. You'll see 4 green bars. These 4 green bars represent the early parts of her life. Now, to give you a little bit of understanding, these 12 bars represent about 3 years and 9 months of her life. So you can see that first green bar there, that on the right-hand side, that represents around about the first 3 years and 9 months of her life. Carl Sharples, great to see you there. I know you'll love this technology and it'll benefit both you, your family, and your team. So we're having a look at these green bars. Each of these green bars represent about 3 years and 9 months of her life. So we can see that the first 13 to 14 years of her life, there was no significant emotional events. There was no major traumas. There was no major triggers. But as soon as she got to about age 15, you can see that first orange bar on the screen. This was when she started to have some major significant emotional events. For those of you who have family in the military, her father was taken out from the country and sent over to the Middle East. This was a very traumatic event for our client because her father was taken from the country where she lived and sent all the way over to the Middle East. So you can imagine what's going through a 15-year-old's mind. There's a war in the Middle East. All of a sudden, my father's been taken away and he has to go fight for the country on the front line. This was a very traumatic experience for her. And we can see that by this red bar here, this has identified the start of some major mental and emotional blockages. Now, trying to manage that emotion, her life started to go haywire. Her life was being turned upside down. And over the following years, there was another major incident. She had a sporting accident. She was on her snow skis and hit some flat ground very hard. Now, what she said, when you hit the flat ground on the snow skis, you just keep tumbling. There's nothing to hit and stop you. You just keep going down the hill really, really fast. And so this was a major event. She had broken bones, bruised ribs, and she also had her neck in a neck vice to keep it straight. This was a very traumatic event. Now, because of that one event, if we have a look at that bar there right in the middle, it stopped her from joining the school sports team. So she's left school, then she's gone to university, but because of this injury, she has now lost her opportunity to play sports for her university, and it held her back. After a couple of years of wrestling with this, we can see roughly this bar here at around mid-20s, she left university. She went overseas, and overseas didn't turn out to be the dream that she had created. She set this goal, she had these dreams, she had these wishes, she had these hopes, but all of it came crashing down around her. And she ended up in a state of depression. And we can see right there, those two very high bars, E and D. This was a very stressful time of her life. She was suffering depression. She was on medication. And then eventually life just went from bad to worse. Eventually she gave up hope and she gave into life. Now, this is interesting. At around about age 41, this client met me. And you can see the last two green bars here. These last two green bars represent around about the last 4 to 8 years of her life. And we can see that bar, the final bar, the C bar there. The client met me when she was 41. And at 41, we started to do a lot of work on a mental and emotional blockages. I showed her how to let go of old emotions like anger, sad, fear, hurt, and guilt. And once she learned how to do that, she was free from it. She was free from this past trauma in her life. I showed her how to overcome her self-limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of success. I can't have what I want. And once she was free from those mental or emotional blockages from the past, her life went really, really good. And it just started to take off. She started to pursue her dreams and even starting her dream business. And we can see here, those orange-coloured bars here, imagine those as like a red light. Stop. Life stopped. She stopped having fun. She stopped enjoying herself. But once she started to do personal and professional development, those bars turned green. And you know what green means? Green means go. And in her life, she's really going for it right now. So this technology we have, in 90 seconds, you can identify more than 1,441 blockages. You can identify 1,441 emotional triggers that are holding you back. And once you understand where the root cause of these problems are coming from, you can then quickly overcome those limitations. You can understand your limiting belief, but you can also understand the limiting decision that was created before it. Once you understand when you created it, you then can uncreate it using different types of technologies. And so for this client, her life really took off once she started to be free from those mental and emotional blockages. And this technology is able to map out her emotional life journey. And one day what we might do, we might ask her to come onto the live, and we might ask her just to pinpoint the exact events that were taking place at this moment. And this technology is phenomenal, and I'd love you to also experience it. So in 90 seconds, a 90-second voice recording, we can identify more than 1,441 blind spots, more than 1,441 emotional triggers. And as soon as you know what your triggers are, you can then break through those old blockages. So if you're interested to learn more, if you'd like to experience this technology for yourself, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to send me a message on Facebook today. Say, Daniel, I saw you on your live stream and I want to learn about this technology and I want to learn how I can use it to accelerate and multiply my results in my personal life and also my professional life. So if you'd like to learn what's holding you back, if you'd like to be able to learn your what the emotional triggers are and your blind spots are, and you'd like to do it in under 90 seconds, let me know. We'll make sure it happens for you, and we'll show you what's holding you back, and then you can go out and quickly accelerate and multiply your results and get what you want. An amazing piece of technology. Imagine that, 90 seconds. In 90 seconds, you can discover your whole emotional life journey, pinpoint what's holding you back, and then simply break through it. So this technology here, I'm using it in my life, and I'm getting some amazing results. Ninny's using it in her life, and she's getting amazing results. We've even used this technology to analyze our daughter's voice. Nikita is now 7, she'll be 8, and we can see traumatic events that took place in her life. We can see when we left Taiwan to go to Australia, it was a traumatic event. We could see other times of traumas where she'd fallen down and split her chin open. All of these major traumas were aligned with this technology. Absolutely phenomenal. My mother-in-law is using it, our cousins are using it, and all of them are getting phenomenal results, and they're all accelerating and multiplying their results. So what we'd like to do is I'd like to invite our guest onto the show one day so she can join us and tell us all about what she discovered from this. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time today. If you'd like to learn more about the technology, just message me right now on Facebook and I'll get it into your hands. Wherever you are, have a wonderful day.